Good evening, folks, and welcome. This is a what do you call it? This is a Videorama Stereo 88, more than likely sold through catalogue companies. Just get me glasses because they're going to be needed. I've come off the bush radiogram for a bit because I need to pull the chassis out, and you know, that's going to be worked on. So don't worry, I've not forgot about that. I just want to have a go at it. I want to have a look at this. Right, it's got a BSR deck in it, and there's the front. Volume, balance, and tone. Volume, balance, and tone. I gave £5 for this because and I gave £5. I got the dust cover, and I also got the original speakers as well. But I've got one of these in really nice condition that I got from Jay's Vintage Junk a long time ago when I first got to know him. Well, pretty soon after I got to know him, I got one from him, and it's a lovely one. And but it's got a couple of issues. So this is basically a parts record player. But what we'll do, we'll pull it apart and we'll have a look. I've already had it plugged in. I plugged it in when I got it, and it's down on one channel. All you get through one of the speakers is a bit of crackling and not much of anything else. The cartridge appears to work, which is good. The front air's damaged. Probably got warped in the rain this morning, but there's quite a few usable parts in this. I mean, I need a deck for the Van der Molen, but I'm wondering if this has got the Mullard modules in it like the Van der Molen has. It may not. It may be ICs in this. I do not know. But we're going to take it apart, and it's basically a tear down, really. I mean. Like I say, I bought it just for the deck and the speakers, because the speakers are the same ones that would have been with the Van der Molen. So you know, that's a bit. So that's why I've decided. That's why I decided that it was worth a £5. So. You know, and there's other bits in this that are also working. The mains transformer obviously works because the amplifier works through one channel. He had it marked up for £15, but he was never going to get £15. Yeah, it's got Mullard modules in it. It's got Mullard modules. How about that? Let's put that there. Yeah, folks. There's your Mullard modules. One of them is down. But that's no great problem because we don't need them. You know, probably only a capacitor. I will test the transistors and stuff. Yeah, you know, but it's probably only a capacitor that's fucked or something daft. You know, it's not going to be a serious issue, I wouldn't have thought. But you know, we will investigate matters further. I mean, this whole thing comes apart, so what we'll do, we'll take it apart because it ain't going back together. And the Mullard modules, if I can repair them, or one of them, what I might do a recap on them and use them for another project. Because that Van der Molen is only, really all I need off this is I need the deck and the volume control. And that's how you get your amplifier out. And the whole side comes off. But basically all we want from this is the deck and the volume, the on-off volume control. If it's the same value, and I can't see why it wouldn't be. And we'll also have the Mullard modules as well, and I'll test them, and might only want a recap. Might even be a dry joint, could be anything. But I'll check for, I will actually check and look at that. That's the cabinet apart. I won't break it because I might have use for the wood. So I won't go to town and lose all sense of respectability and break it. But look at that. That's actually a metal chassis. I might be able to even do something with that. And maybe, you know, I don't know, I'll save that. But, you know, I had a nice radio come in today as well from the 1930s, belonging to our friend Steve Pendlebury. He's not brought it for me to repair for him. He brought it for me. Not exactly a gift. It's sort of like on loan, if you like. But while it's in, I'll repair it and then I can use it. And then I said to him, you know, if you ever want it back, just ask me and you can have it back. So, you know, it's sort of like that sort of arrangement with that. You know, because, yeah, you know, that's what he wanted to do with it. So, but we'll get into that a bit later at some point, because I'm really looking forward to that. I've never done the 1930s radio, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that. There's no more screws in this, so this should just lift off here, I would have expected, and it does. And oh, look at this. Somebody's put potentiometers in this, look, for the... Have you seen this, folks? I've never seen this before. Is the motor seized? No, it ain't about the only thing on these decks that has never seized up. Hey, look at this. Do you remember what I was saying about them doing these decks in sort of like different sort of styles? Well, look at this one. They've used leftover parts. They've used leftover parts from a Monarch, because that's a Monarch push pad. Now that is interesting. Let me zoom you in. I want to show you what I want to originally, before I spotted that push pad. I want to show you something. And I've never seen this before. But what they've done, they've actually put potentiometers on the pickup, on the pickup wires. That is interesting. So what we'll do, we'll leave them as they are. We'll leave them on there. And when I put the deck in the Van der Molen, we'll see what difference it makes them being there. So what we need, and also the motor, the old wiring, brown and black. So really, this is actually very basic. This is extremely basic. I mean, it's more basic than the Van der Molen, and that's basic. But this is even more basic. I mean, the Van der Molen's got proper tone controls and stuff. This has just got two tone correction capacitors here on the tone control. There's no preamp as such. It's all done through the main amp, and they've used two capacitors there for the tone correction. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm not even going to plug this in. What I'm going to do, I'm going to, because I know what the problem is, it's down on one side, so we can check the amplifier at a later date. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to clip the motor wires off, and there's enough room. No, there's not. I thought there was enough room for me to just resolder them, but there's not. And I'm going to have to desolder them potentiometers. I'm not going to get them off. And I want to leave them on because I want to find out what difference they make. There. Oh, hang on. Solder that back onto there. They're probably just there as a shunt. They probably put them in as a shunt resistor. you know, to I want to leave them on the deck, so take them off at this end. I got this today from Smithfield Market. Jesus, let's just cut the fucker. Just cut the fucking wire. Because it's not going back in anyway. There we go. There we go. Right, so we'll take the deck off the motorboard because we'll work on the deck first. You've seen me do these a million times, but you can see me do it again. This is like a sort of like cross between. I'll tell you what the model of the deck is in a minute. Get the motorboard out, not another use for that. And right now, let's see what the model of the deck is. It's an A21, model A21 BSR. But as you can see, you know what they've done. They've put a monarch push pad in. Oh, you can't see it. Let me lift you up a bit. Let me lift you up. You want to lose weight, you heavy bastards. Lifting you's heavy. There we go. I'm only joking, by the way, folks. Don't take me too seriously. In fact, don't take me seriously at all. I'm not meant to be. See, that's a monarch push pad, as you can see. And, you know, this is probably monarch as well. I'm not sure. But some of it isn't, some of it isn't. You know, they've actually, yeah, that's unusual. It's the first time I've seen this in one of these decks. The push pad in one of these is normally only about that long, and this is clearly one out of a monarch. It's supposed to be there, don't get me wrong. It's not what somebody's put in and messed about with. It's designed to be like that, and it's got a cartridge in it. It's a BSR cartridge that's in there. We'll put that there for a minute because we want to get into the knobs, because the knobs have got to come off, because I need the on-off volume control, because the one on mine's fucked. I just hope this one ain't. Well, I know this one's not, because it turned up on one channel at least, so I'm pretty sure that we're alright there. And look at that sponge behind there to cut out the damping for some daft reason. But this actual metal chassis might come in handy for some reason, for some projects. Right, well, I need, I can't remember what value potentiometer I actually need, but you know, fucking hell, that's sharp. If you're doing these, make sure you don't cut yourself on the metal. It's sharp. Somebody's been in this before me. Mind you, that's fucking obvious, isn't it? Someone's been in all of them, haven't they? Cut the power cord off, because, like I say, we're not plugging this in. It's been plugged in, and as I'm not repairing it, I don't feel I have to demonstrate the fault. And you know, the fault's on one of them mullard modules. Which one, I don't know. It's probably even a bad capacitor or a dry joint or something daft, but I will check it. You know, they will get checked, but I'll save them for another project. The big smoothing capacitor down there, and I've got the rectifier soldered straight to the smoothing capacitor. I thought it was floating around in the breeze. It's not. It's coming off the look at the size of the transformer they've used. and that's to power 2 amplifiers. Yeah, look at that, look at the size of that fucking tiny transformer they've put in. And that's to power 2 amplifiers. What cheap fuckers they were back then, eh? This was made, really. This is bargain basement record player, isn't it? I mean, it really is. It's they were sold through catalogues, these things, anyway. They were crap. They were sold through catalogues. Right. That put up some resistance. But it will come off. There we are. It put up some resistance, but it lost the fight. There we go. I think the one I want is it's either, I think it's a 22k or something fucking daft. I can't remember the value I need, but that's no great detriment because oh no, it's 2 megohm I need, and guess what, that's 2 megohm, so that's going to be cleaned and saved. So that'll have switch cleaner put in and it'll be saved. That's my potentiometer replacement for my Van der Molen, and then the Van der Molen will work sweet. But because the Mullard, I recapped the Mullard units and I recapped everything else. So, you know, what we'll do now, we'll leave some of the wires attached for now. Not that I need to, I know where they go, but we'll leave them attached for now, because I want to be careful taking this pot, taking the wires and stuff off this, because I do want to reuse the pots rather. So we'll be gentle with it and we'll just snip the wires. I don't know if I'll do the Van der Molen tonight. I might actually, but I'm going to do the deck and just take the. There we go. Oh, we're still connected to the amplifiers. But at the end of the day, folks, you know, we'll put that up there. I can't believe. I find it very difficult to believe that people actually gave money for these. They fucking did. They bloody well did. I mean, they've even welded the clamp on. Look at that, they've even welded the clamp on for the smoother. I mean, it's a loose fit, look at that. You know, you can't see it. Let me just show you, look at that. It jiggles. I bet there's spunk coming out of that and all. I wouldn't be at all surprised. No? No, there's not. Right, so what we want off next, we want our Mullard modules, because we paid good money for our Mullard modules. Paid good money for the entire thing. So we want what we can get. I mean, I will save the chassis until I get fed up of looking at it, and then it'll end up on my mate's scrap truck. But power lead, stuff like that, that'll all get saved. I'll save all that kind of thing. Get these nuts out. I mean, put them there for a second. This is really sharp, you know, folks. You've got to be careful. This part here is not too bad, but you know. That one's putting up a bit of a fight. Can I get my little spinner in there? Little nut driver. Will it fit them nuts? Yeah, it does. There we go. Let's clip the wires off that so I can separate the amps. Clip the speaker wires. Could you believe that? One of those speaker wires is coming straight from that capacitor. I mean, regulations back then weren't what they are today, were they? I mean, they just weren't. It's got 3-pin speaker sockets on this. But one of the pins went to that capacitor and fucked if I know why. Right, we're disconnecting that one's. Yeah, I'm sure I'll just chop that one. There we are. Right, that's... Oh, hang on. I was going to say it should be our Mullard module out, but it ain't. It is now. No, it ain't. Wow. See, and there's your Mullard module. Well, as I say, one of these is a wanker. I don't know which one. Can't remember, but was down on one channel. But these modules will be reused. Rest assured. I will service them, and I will use them in another project. I don't know what yet, but they'll go in the amplifier drawer. I've got quite a few things that are now rare. Like I've got a perfectly working set, an original as well, Sanyo STK chip, and they're getting fucking thin on the ground. They're very difficult to find. Where's that other fucking screw gone that belongs to that nut? Oh, there it is. I've got one. I've got one of them which I took out of. It's actually still mounted on its amplifier board, because although the unit it came out of was scrapped, the sound was perfect. So what I do with stuff like that, I take the amplifier boards, if I can, I take the amplifier boards out and leave them intact, because that amplifier board will work in something else if it's wired up correctly. You know, and I've marked the inputs and outputs and stuff like that in preparation for it to be repurposed. You know why throw something away if there's absolutely nothing wrong with it? You know, that's my philosophy. You know, why chuck something in the bin if you don't actually have to? I mean, this amplifier was loose, so somebody's been in this one at some point, and it's the wrong nut. So, I mean, I know they've all been repaired at some point. You know, somebody's worked on them all at some point, haven't they? I mean, they're old enough for somebody to work on them all, but this has got the wrong nut, because it's a thinner nut than the other three. So, someone's had this amp out in the past. But that's obvious, isn't it? Somebody's worked on all this old stuff. It's all been worked on, unless it's been chucked in a fucking attic after it broke down. Like the Peter Scott radiogram I bought, that was nice. It'd never been touched by anybody, because it was working when it was put away. So there was no need for anybody to touch it. Didn't work too well when it came back out, however. But you know, the point was it was working when it was put in the attic. It came out of, it was working. So you know, and it had all original Mullard valves in it. All had fucking dust on them and everything, and you know, I thought that was a nice item for the price. I've still got it. I need to think about moving it on, actually. You know, making somebody else the owner. Need to think about doing that, because I can't keep everything. See, that nut's thinner than the rest of them. I can't keep everything. I mean, I don't know. I've got this bush and I'm going to sell this bush. You know, I'm going to, you know, that'll get moved on once I've serviced it. I don't know, I might even keep the bush and sell the, you know, I might even keep the bush and sell the Peter Scott. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely keeping one of them for myself. Definitely got to have one, but You know, the Pitot Scott's nice, and the bush will be nice once it's been recapped and stuff, once I've done the work it needs. It's almost there. The radio's working on that now, as you know. Got rid of that annoying whistle. That was only valves. Well, a valve. Well, actually, I found out afterwards. I put the audio valve back in the original. I put that back in, and the noise reappeared, but it weren't as bad. But it's still noisy, so it had two noisy valves in it. But the main one was that oscillator valve. Why they run the pickup through the oscillator? Don't ask me. You know, I don't understand why they would run the pickup through the oscillator, but they do. And they turn the HT to the oscillator off when you put it into gram mode. When you put it into gram mode, it disconnects the oscillator, the HT to the oscillator, so there's no radio breakthrough. Right, let's salvage these knobs. Let's get them off because they're working. So we'll have them knobs, because them controls rather, the potentiometers, because you never know. You just never know, do you? I should really have a fucking spanner for doing this. But I haven't, so I've probably got a spanner that fits, but not in the workshop. It's in my toolbox, if it's anywhere. So, but I am going to get some dedicated lightweight spanners. I don't like having big heavy spanners in my drawer. I mean, big heavy spanners belong in your toolbox, and you can't ratchet through your toolbox every time you need a frigging spanner. So I might. Bloody hell. Might have to get a fucking spanner on that. I've got a mate who lives round the corner from me, you know, and he's got a spanner to fit the 50 pences. He's a tight fucker. Oh, that's gonna need a bit more than I can give it. With a pair of pliers. I don't have a spanner to my hand, not in the drawer. All my spanners in the toolbox. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that to one side, and that's another one we'll come back. I'll get the knob off another time. It's not essential that I do that right now. We've got what we want out of that, mainly the record deck and the volume and on-off control. Right, now this is a 4-speed version of the deck. It's got the cartridge in it. It's got a stylus. That stylus is probably still good. I will look under the microscope. Oh, pardon me. I will look under the microscope. It's a 78 RPM. No, it's not. It's double LP. And I've got one up here. I want to just check to see if it fits. It's an ST something of some description. I need to turn the heat gun on as well, because I need to get the turntable off because it's seized on. So, and I'll show you how to deal with these plastic turntables, the way I deal with them. I'm not saying everybody should do it my way. No, definitely not. But let's just get out. Well, and that was an ST10. I've got an ST8 version of that. It's the same stylus. I don't know why they put different numbers on them. And this is an ST3, and it's an LP78. It's just what this wants. And look at that. So what we'll do, we'll put both of them in that stylus box, so they're safe, because that other one might be okay. It'll certainly do for testing. So we'll put them up there, and we'll put that back there. Now, and look at this here. Oh, let me zoom out on you folks, I'm sorry. Look at this here. That is a that's for a Monarch. What they've done, they've used the leftover Monarch parts and put them on this BSR. This is a completely. This is. I think this is a BSR Ibiza. You know, a bits of this and bits of that. I think it's a BSR Ibiza model. This one. I'm not going to strip it completely. There's no need, because I couldn't get the control arm up earlier and it comes up now, or as some people like to call it, the overarm. Can I get the centre spindle out? Nope, that's seized in. That's tighter than my mate Warby's wallet. And believe you me, I'll tell you what, you know, you want to see inside that wallet. Yeah, fuck it, it's a rare, you know, they could do a TV documentary in there. You know, the life and times of Warby's wallet. But, you know, the wallet that time forgot. Yeah, you know, but let's take the cartridge connectors off without snapping the fucking wires. Hopefully we've got one off. I've slid the fucking rubber johnny off one of them. Don't want to snap the fucking wires off. Let's try a pair of thin pliers. I don't want to damage. Oh shit! Okay, good job I took that stylus out, wasn't it? Because them sort of things happen. Now let's try and. Oh, there we are. There we go. I don't want to damage anything, because I want to leave this as it is and it go back together the way. So what we'll do now, we'll get a small screwdriver, if we have one, and we shall now remove a cartridge. There we go. Put the, this is a cartridge will be cleaned and shined up a bit, make it look nice and fresh, because I know I am going to test it actually. I'm going to turn the signal tracer on. I'm going to test the cartridge on both channels, because I've only really heard it on one. I can't vouch for its ability to work on both. And oh, you know, you pull one thing down and everything falls down. They're miniature drill bits, really, really small for doing them jobs where you need. So we'll turn that signal tracer on, let that warm up for a second, and we'll test the cartridge. Oops. See if it's a good one or a wanker. I know one channel of it works, that is for certain. So let's have a go. Clip that onto there. It doesn't matter whether I clip it negative or positive. Let's turn the volume up a bit. That's, might be fucking fuck this. Might be low on one output. No, we're okay on there. Let's see if we're any louder on the other output. Bridge the two negatives together. There we go. Don't feel very strong on that side. Where's that old stylus that was knocking about? Not the one I've just took out. I had another one. I want to put that in so I can stroke it better. But I've got a feeling it's not quite right, that. I'm not... There we go. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah. It's just oxidisation on the pins. I'll clean them up. Sounds about right. Yeah, it's just oxidisation on the pins. I'll clean it up. So what we need to do is put this cartridge with them two styli, put it that way up so the rubber actuator doesn't get damaged. We'll put that up there out of the way. Turn off the signal tracer. And get the wires for that out of the way. Now, the heat gun is on, and I'm going to my daughter's next Saturday night. She's having a birthday party and she's made it quite clear I can't smoke in her flat. I don't blame her, she's got every right to do that and I will respect that. I'll go on the balcony and have one. But, you know, yeah. Take some of my music with me that I like, because I can't bear the crap that she listens to. So, take a few drinks as well. So we should have a decent evening. Just inviting some of her friends, some people who I know as well. So should be good. Anyway. Anyway, this is real. I mean, I wonder if I could sell this to an audiophile. You know, do you think I could sell this to an audiophile? You know, tell them that it's, I don't know. You know. I'm gonna do a talk one night on audiophiles, because they're a strange breed, aren't they? I mean, anybody who pays more for a lead than what they do for the actual amplifier they're plugging it into, there's got to be something wrong in their marble. They've got to have a few marbles rolling around the marble bag. It'll loose and falling out the marble bag, haven't they? I mean, come on. You know, I mean, I'm no audiophile, but I do like nice sounding stuff. But I mean, a lot of it's snake oil, isn't it? As I said the other night. I mean, like, you know, I understand in one respect them changing the interconnects that come with some equipment. But you know, the RCA leads, if you want to call them that, phono leads, whatever you want to call them, the interconnect leads, as I call them, which is basically what they are. But there again, if you buy a decent piece of equipment, you expect to get a decent leads with it. And, you know, the leads, you know, the manufacturers make them leads to work adequately with the equipment. So, you know, all this bollocks about oxygen-free cable, it improves your sound and stuff. I don't think it does. I just think it's, I mean, look at Maplin. You know, fucking, you know, they wouldn't think twice of charging you 20 quid for a fucking 1 metre lead. You know, cheeky fuckers. No wonder they went out of business. You know, fucking, it's unreal. I don't understand them. I mean, they buy a mains lead because it's got a capacitor in it. to clean up the mains before it goes. Well, there's already a capacitor in the amplifier to do that. It's called the smoothing capacitor, or if you're in America or Canada, the filter. It's already done. And some have what some people call a def capacitor across the transformer or across the line or whatever they want to call it, across the mains. You know, so there's no need for leads like that. I mean, you know, same with people who, same with these hardcore gamers. They pay more for an HDMI lead than what the console cost them. Yeah, don't understand it. You know, I mean, you know, I like nice stuff, I do. You know, but I'm happy with what I've got. I've got a Garage 0100 S. And I've got a Sony receiver, or a tuner amp as we call them, and I've got a DAB radio, a separate DAB tuner made by Sony, which I'm gonna sell because which is AM and FM as well, which I'm gonna sell because I don't use, because as I say I've got a receiver and I use that, and you know, I gave my mate Graham a tenner for that, and I'm more than happy with it, and it makes a nice sound. It's not bad. You know, and it's got loads of input. I mean, it hasn't got any HDMI on it, sadly, but for 10 quid I ain't complaining. You know, it is what it is, and it does the job, but it does it very nicely. And my Zero works through it beautifully. I mean, and I've got an Autofon cartridge in that. I can't remember which Autofon. It's the the very, very thin black one, where the stylus fucking shoves on the front. Well, just below the front. One of them. But you know, I'm not into paying over the odds for an interconnect lead. You know. And I don't get it. Oxygen-free cable. How do they make oxygen-free cable? Because there's oxygen in the atmosphere. You know, we're surrounded by oxygen. We breathe it. So, you know, I don't get it. I think it's all snake oil, to be honest with you. You know, I've got an oxygen-free cable. I didn't buy it, but I've got one. It was given. And I've got it in a load of stuff. And when I plug that in, it sounds just the same. It's plugged into a CD player and going to an amp, and it still sounds the same no matter what cable I plug in. And you know, but the problem is with an audiophile, you'll never ever win. As what's his name said, Dave from E-Vlog. I think it is, yeah. You know, like he said, you know, hey, wasn't that strange that that voice on Gadget UK's video? I amplified that. What I did, I nicked his clip and I amplified the end of it, and it actually sounds like a child. In my opinion, anyway, saying never speak to me. That was really strange. I mean, and I believe, you know, I believe it to be real, because I believe in all that sort of stuff. I believe in ghosts. You know, I believe in ghosts, you know, because there is something. There's got to be. I mean, I'll tell you a story, but that's for another time. But I'm just finishing this fag and I'm going to get this turntable apart, and I'll show you the way I do it if I can on this particular deck. I might have to go in through the top on this particular model, I don't know, because no, I can go in through the bottom here. What I do with Dexter plastic turntables, I don't eat the turntable from the top, I do it from the bottom. And that way you don't distort the turntable or run the risk of doing that. And it also loosens up the grease on the spindle as well. You know, so you're not putting too much heat where it's not needed. But we'll do that in a minute. But yes, that was very strange, and you know, if his camera picked it up, he might have heard it, but you know, didn't realise he heard it. But yeah, I'm into all that sort of stuff, and you know, I left a comment on his channel. Say what I thought, but you know, certain things can't explain. There's certain things that can't be explained. There's certain things that we don't understand because we're not ready to understand them. Our brains are not developed enough to understand them. Yes, we're an intelligent species, but our brains are still Stone Age. You know, when it comes to that, basically we are. You know, like when we get frightened or anxious or out like that, or happy or sad, it's the same way that Stone Age man got fucking happy and sad and fucking all the rest of it. It's always been there. You know, but yeah, there's just certain things we're not meant to understand at this point in time. There'll come a day, won't be in my lifetime or any of ours maybe, but there will come a time when we actually are given the knowledge to understand that, the power to understand it. But we don't understand it at this point, I don't think. But yeah, it was very creepy. And there's no way he faked it because it sounded too real. It sounded like a little girl, to be honest. Very young. Don't speak to me. Yeah. Yeah, strange phenomena. Anyway. There we go. Anyway, let's get the heat gun. Well, first of all, let's get the circlip off. Find a flat bladed screwdriver. I got one out for the job. Put my glasses back on. Shift the control arm out of the way. And see what lurks beneath here. I'm not going to try and twist the turntable off yet. I'm not going to throw loads of oil down it. There's no need for any of that. And what we do, apply the heat about here, and that should be good enough. There's also a pin on these as well that you have to release there to get the clips out of these, because this is basically, like I say, it's a cross between a Monarch and a later BSR. So we just want to heat up around here. I can already feel that starting to turn better. And I'm going to have to give this a lot. It's not too bad. I've had them worse than this. There, we're starting to get a bit of smoke. But this is how I do these. Metal ones, yeah, you can do them from the top. But give it a jiggle while I do it. Make sure we're not. Yeah, we're okay. There we are. That's all it needs. We're loose. That turntable should now pop off. There we are, look at that. Should pop off. There we go. and we haven't caused any undue, there's a bit of fluff, we haven't caused any undue distortion to the turntable whatsoever. In fact, that's actually just above warm and the top of it's cold, which is what you expect it to be. Now the cycling gear, that's nice and free. That little pawl there, that has to be cleaned. It's not meant to be lubricated. That people do lubricate them and you're not supposed to. It says in the manual for the BSR that, now let's see if I can get this spindle to just move a little bit. It should. There we go. Oh, I didn't have to release that one. Some of them you do. Right. Pull the circlip off for the cycling gear, or cam gear as it's called. And a lot of people don't oil this cam follower here, and and what it does, it basically rides in the cam with no lubricant on it. And when it does that, it tends to fuck it up. Puts a flat side on one side, or two sides of it rather. And so I'm not bothered about grease getting in places at the moment. The reason for that is because this whole thing's going to be washed and cleaned, because it's a bit, and look at that, you can't take this off on this one. It's actually got a permanent, oh yeah you can you? Yeah, you can take that screw out, but I'm not going to go to all that trouble. I don't think I need to. No, the speed mechanism works fine. It's dry, but I'll put a little bit of grease on there, but it does work okay seemingly. Take the motor out. Although the motor's running free, it will need a service. I mean, it's probably never been done since it was made. I mean, none of these were, you know, if they went wrong electrically, that's all that was done. You know. But they only need servicing once every couple of years. Depends on how regularly you use it. But if they're going to be laid up, then, you know, that spring's had a bit of stress, it's being stretched. So what we'll do, we'll chop the end of that off later. We'll just hook it back in for now. No, we won't need to. We'll be alright. We'll just bend it over. We'll get away with that. I was going to chop the end of the spring off, but we don't need to. Right, let's take this switch off for the motor. Where's my little blue screwdriver? There it is. Well, first of all, let's get the clamp here undone that clamps the wires. Bloody hell! You can tell it's never been out since it was made. It is now. And I always put all the bits inside the turntable, and that way I don't lose anything. Right, where's my little blue screwdriver? There it is. I mean, this is not a high value unit, and I won't get top dollar. I don't expect to get top dollar for something like this. Yeah, I've knocked one of the clips off. Never mind, throw it in there. Oh, don't you dare chew up. Let's try another screwdriver. Oops. Bloody hell. There, got it. Not damaged the arm, have I? Because it all slid back. No, I haven't. I'm okay. Right, so that's the motor out. We'll put that in there as well. And where's that screw? There it is. And what I might do this time, because Right, that's pretty much ready to be washed now, all cleaned and re-lubricated. So I'll put that down out of the way. Make sure not damage the arm. No, don't damage the arm, do we? Because you know I ain't got another arm like that, so we'd be screwed. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to service the motor, and I'll talk you through how I do that. Take this off. Take the switch apart, then you don't run the risk of losing any bits. Is what I always generally do. Take the switch apart, you don't run the risk of losing anything out of it. There we go. That'll all go back together where it needs to be. Now let's see how free the motor is. That's not bad, but it ain't perfect either, so we'll take the bearings out and then when I put it together, I need to note that the brown wire goes to the bottom, otherwise I'll put it back upside down. If I put it back together upside down, the bloody turntable will rotate backwards. We don't want that. Put that on there. And that goes to the bottom. Now, take these out of here. Or do I need to? No, I don't need to. It's not going to come off the end of that. Feed that back through. Don't need to. Don't need to go through all that. Anyway, now let's get the other one off. There we go. And there's also brass bushings in here as well. I don't want to lose those. They're separate. They might not be on this, but you never know. I don't think I've ever done a motor service on video, have I? I can't remember. Okay, down. Once. Oh, that one don't want to come off. Let's see if I can get a grip on the pliers with it just to get a turn. If it doesn't come off, it's no great detriment, but I'd like to get it off. I mean, it would be nice to... There we are, we got it. Just needed a bit of persuasion. There you are. See, at the end of the day, it's all down to leverage. At the end of the day. Now, pull the bottom bearing out. Oh, got another one here. And the brown wire goes to the bottom. There we go. Take that off. Now, we can take the top bearing out, and it's full of crap, so we'll give that all a good clean. And put that to one side, give that a quick wipe out with my fingers. There we go. Now let's get a cloth, because I haven't got any cotton buds, so I forgot to buy them. Never mind. We want the oil, different type. Well, it's the same type of oil, but I might have to spray some, so we'll get that down at the same time. We want the brushes, we want the toothbrush, we want, where's my small little brush I use to apply the grease, there it is, and we'll get another one out just in case we need 2 brushes for that job, so we'll get 2 of them out. Oops, oops, I'm going to end up with everything going everywhere here. Right, grease. And rubber renew. That's all the stuff we need at this point in time. Don't need switch cleaner. I'll like that because I'll do that when I put the new potentiometers and on-off switch in the Van der Molen. Oh, another one for you Americans in honour of your president, Mr. Trump. Oh shit, I've left the IPA up there. The colour of my IPA is sort of like a dirty colour because it's got that way. Anyway, what we'll do, we'll pour some into this lid. There we go. A bit more. There. There for a minute. Now we can start to clean the motor. Now I was going to use a cloth, but I think a brush will do it. Clean the bearing. I mean these motors they stand the test of time, but they're not as nice as the Garrard ones. But they do stand up quite well, so make sure we've got no crap in there. No, we're okay. Now get the cloth. Some noisy fuckers walking past us, setting me dog off. This is doing his job. There we go. Lovely. Looks like new inside that. Now, the top bearing, I can't get the spring off because I might not get it back on. So, I'm just going to clean the shaft. And all the steps on this are all nice and straight. None of them are bent. The 16 RPM one can sometimes be a bit bent because it's the thinnest. But not on this motor. It's lovely. Clean the bottom there, clean that. Clean the base. The motor, let's give that a bit more. Because there's a bit of gunk on the bottom there. There we go. Now all we need to do is drop some oil. You only need 1 or 2 drops. And this is really thin oil. It's 3 in 1, but it's not in a 3 in 1 container. Oops. You know, I could do with an eyedropper or something for this, because the oil isn't going where I need it to go. Try doing that. There we go. Well, that's gone. Oh, yeah, we're in there now. Give that a wipe. Yeah, we'll lubricate it now. Just as a good measure, just drop a little smear of oil around the bottom bearing there, around the shaft. There. Now put the top back on the oil, put this IPA, put the IPA back in the bottle for a minute. We'll get that back out again and then put the top on so I don't lose, so it doesn't go everywhere. There we go. Start putting the motor back together now. one of that went through there, so put the bottom bearing on. Make sure that we I won't nip them all up yet because I need to put more screws in, and the two longest screws go in here in the front. Right, and this is one of the longest ones. And you can see where it went because that goes on there. Get that black wire out of the way of that screw so it doesn't get pinched. And that goes there. It has a washer on it as well. That goes on there. Really simple and effective and long-lasting devices. These motors. I was going to say, where's that nut from? Just realised. Yeah, that goes on there. Are we in? Certainly are. Right, before tightening it up, just nip the other one up slightly so the whole lot's held together. Now what I'll do now is just give it a jiggle around. There, look at that now. Look at that. Spin down on that now is a lot better. It's a lot better than what it was. I mean, now look at that. That's what we're looking for. The motor wants to be as free as it can possibly be. Shut up, Scraps, you've made your point. The motor needs to be as free as it possibly can be, as you know. And if you don't know, then I've just told you. And there we go. Move that. Tighten that up. Right. That is ready to go back in. Yep. And that is perfect. One perfect reconditioned motor. That with that lot. Now what we need to do next is take this lot and wash it all. And get it all nice and clean so we can put new grease in it. And before I do that, I need to take the pawl off. I clean all the gunk out of these gears as well, out of these teeth. Now let's have a look at this. See, that's not supposed to, it's supposed to be dead free, that, and it's stuck together. It's supposed to be like that. And the way I deal with these, the only way you can really deal with them, the best way, well, my way, is to just prise it up a little bit over that notch there, pull it apart, there we are, and give it a good clean with the IPAs. Just wipe this oil up off the desk, the bench, And what we'll do, we'll give it a really good clean with the IPA, get all the contaminants off. Somebody's oiled that in the past, and you're not supposed to oil them. I mean, one day somebody might get the message, but you get people who say different things, but I say what it says in the manual, and as far as I'm concerned, the manual is gospel. I mean, the company that made it know what to do, so, you know, at the end of the day, this has to be as free as possible, because the arm has to push it. When the arm's going across the record, it has to push it effortlessly. There's no room for error. At the end of the day, it's either right, or you either do it right or you don't do it. That's the way I look at it. You know, and there's only two ways of doing something. It's the right way and the wrong way. The way I do it is the right way, because that is the way that BSR say it should be done. I don't care what people say. Well, we were taught this and we were taught that. Well, you taught wrong. It has to be said. Whoever taught you what they taught you didn't read the manual. So therefore, they just said, yeah, slap a bit of oil and a bit of grease all over everything. It'll free it up. But there's not, because what you get on here, you get, if you get any contaminants, any oil or whatever, you get a phenomena known as stiction. And the parts actually stick together, as you well know. And you know, you can't have that. You know, it's not designed in that way. Designed to be free. And with no contaminants in there. And then all we do, we just lift it back up. Over that lip. In fact, it actually goes that way. You could go either way, but there's an easy way and a hard way. Lift it up. Push it up with my finger. Lift it up. Push it onto the ledge there. And then, there we go. And that is how that should be. No lubricants on it, nothing. That is exactly how that should be. That's how BSR tell you to do it in the manual. I might have to wash this actually, because all this shit is actually coming off. Let's pour a bit of IPA on this. There we go. You can see all the crap there, look, coming out of it. Let's give it a wipe and see how we look. Like new. Just looks like it come out of BSR 5 minutes ago, that. Instead of the fucking 40 odd years ago that it looked like. There we go. Let's get the edge of the cloth. Feed that through the hole if I can. Get me, yeah, get through there, you bastard. Yeah. Give it a clean. It's all nice and clean, and it's shiny in there. Clean this little post that the pawl goes on. Give this top a clean. It doesn't need to be, but why not, eh? I'm doing the rest of it. So you know, I do put a little bit of oil on this spindle here, well, a little bit of grease on that little spindle. I do put a bit on there, but I make sure it keeps it kept well away from the pawl Get all the grease out, and that way see there's grease in here which, let's get a screwdriver, it might be easier to get it out that way. Oh, a lot easier. Yeah. It's not in all the teeth, only in some of them. I mean, I don't have to do them all. It's only in a couple. I mean, I've gone into detail on these before, but because this is a slightly different and it's a bit of a hybrid of a mechanism, because it's got monarch parts in it as well, they must have just used what was left of that they had left of the monarch bits to do these early decks. Yeah, I'd say that's okay. It's nice and clean. So what we'll do now, we'll get a little bit of the oil. I was going to use grease, but I won't. I'll use oil. Get a little bit of oil just on my finger. We don't need too much. And just put a bit of oil. That's all it needs on that shaft. That's all it needs. Now, without touching that's nice and free, without touching the pawl surfaces. Drop that back on. Look at that. Perfect. There you go. Use the edge of the brush. There you go, see? Perfect. That's how that should be. Now, let's look at the rest of the mechanism. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, but I do have to be thorough as well. Top the isopropyl up in the cap. Let's bring the deck cap back up. It's got some dust on the top here, that's no great detriment. We'll just give that a wipe with the cloth. Got the idler to come out yet as well. We'll just give that a wipe and that'll respond quite well. Bit of polish on it later to polish it up. Just get the dust off really while it's in bits. I mean, this is, you know, it's not bad, this deck. It's actually quite, you know, all that and everything, all that works. I mean, put a bit of, I will lubricate the speed mechanism slightly, but take the idler off because that'll be rubbery new. Oh, come off, you bastard. Oops. Let's put it down onto 78. I don't want to snap anything. Jesus. Got it. That didn't want to go, did it? First time an idler's ever put up a fight. See if we can get the other fibre washer, because they can be tricky to get off the bottom. Let's Try this tool, try this other tool, this has got a hook on it. There we go. Get the hook under that, lift that off, there we go. Take that fibre washer off there. Doesn't matter with the fibre washer whether it's top or bottom, they're the same washer. Now, let's get the brush. Put some on there. Put some on the centre spigot and let some run down the spigot. Some on there. Some on that cam follower. Now all I'll do, clean it. Bit on me cloth. There we go. That cam follower is nice and loose on this one, usually they're seized up. So this is not a bad deck, this one, to be honest. That's why I'm not giving it all the treatment, because it doesn't really need it. You know, I normally spray them with gunk if they're really bad. I mean, if you're gonna spray them with gunk, then they're gonna be bad, because shouldn't have to, but yeah, there is the occasion where we have to spray them with gunk. Right, pour a bit on the push pad. I'm not taking the push pad out, doesn't need to. If there was a major issue and the automatic mechanism wasn't working, then I would, but this is working, so there's no need. And if you're doing this one, doing one of these with this configuration, it's basically a Monarch. There's not a great deal, you know, I mean, all this, it's all Monarch, it's all leftover Monarch parts that they must have used in this. But that's no great issue. But there we are, you see, that's all we need. Don't need, and even this, it's all Monarch. All this linkage, well this isn't, but all this linkage here, it's all Monarch. It's, you know, which is good really, because I thought that was a bit of shit, that spring. Which is good really, because it means it's easier to service. Now all we do, we put a bit of grease on it now. Re-grease where we removed. And just check this for freeness. I would imagine it'd be okay. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to go off in a minute, folks, and make a brew. Because we're well overdue coffee. Right, so what we do now, we'll just put a bit of paint a bit of grease on. I like to do it this way. On all moving parts, pretty much. We don't need any up here. I don't think anything moves there. No, just that pivot. We'll put some on that. There we go. There's a hair. Right, and I'm not going to put grease on the control arm either. I'm going to put a drop of oil on that. I'm not putting grease on this because that has to be as free as it can be. There was a bit of grease on the tone arm here on this part of the mechanism, so we'll put a bit on there. Only a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. We'll that's all nice and free, that. But we'll drop a little bit of grease on there at the shaft anyway. Right, now to address the issue of the speed change. Just put it into 16. Put a bit of grease in the pinion gear. I think it's called a pinion gear or rack gear. Bit of grease in that. That's all we need. Maybe a bit there. And we also need a little bit, because just a little bit on the shaft here. Oops, there's a hair there. Shame there's no fanny on it. There we go. Only a little bit. A little bit on here. That's all we need. A little goes a long way. Let's take some of that off where it's squashed down. There we are. Perfect. Now, put a little bit of grease on here. Only a little bit on the pinion, on the cam follower, and we'll drop a bit of oil into and get the cam gear. We may as well put a bit of grease in that while we're here. Some people say no, but you do, because that's what the manual tells you. Put a bit of grease in it. You don't need a lot, just enough to do the job. You've got metal acting on metal, and we've got the ball race to clean yet, so we can't put that gear back in. We'll clean the ball race right now, and we can then put the gear back in. Clean the ball race. What I like to do with the ball race, I like to pick the shit out of it and put new grease in. The ball race is supposed to be greased because it's full of grease when you take it apart. Dip that washer in the isopropyl. Get all the shite off it. And the other thing you can do at this point is turn the washers upside down and use the side that's not worn. Like that side, for example. Where's the little rubber spacer? There it is. With the washer stuck to it. It doesn't matter whether you put the top washer on or the bottom washer, they're both exactly the same washer. So we don't have to concern ourselves with that. Just clean that with a bit of IPA that's left on there. Get the crap off. There we go. Slip that back on. I mean, the rubber parts in this are in really good condition, and when you buy something today, you're lucky if the rubber parts last 12 months, let alone 50 fucking years or 60 years or whatever. You know, you're lucky the last 12 months these days. Fucking rubber parts to shit. I mean, just giving the actual plate, the base plate itself a wipe, just because I can, because while it's off, I might as well. It'll all get polished. I mean, that'll leave a residue, but it'll all be polished before it goes into the Van der Molen. Dip the washer, the IPA. Yeah, that's what we do. Get all a good clean. And what I like to do is wash her in and use the side that's upside down. Is it? Yeah, I like to use the unworn side of the washer. I'll give this a coarse cleaning, and then I'll very carefully pick out the fucking grease that's in there. replace it. And there's the other washer there. Put that there, ready to go in. And that, them bearings are all nice and moving, and you can feel them in my hand. Clean the centre. In case any shite in there. No, we're good. Put there for a minute. Now, let's find my tool with a hook on it and pick out the shit. I mean, and we'll just pick it out gently, and then what we can do, we can put new grease in it, you see. There's even hairs in it and everything. It's horrible. Horrid, horrid, horrid. But there again, if you'd been fucking sat in a fucking cupboard or somewhere for fucking them length of time, you'd have a bit of an issue as well. We'll get the small paintbrush back on this in a minute. There we go. Got the bulk of it out. Let's get the small paintbrush. Dip that in the IPA. There we go. Now I've got to fish that back out. There we are. Let's do that this side. There we go. Clean all the fucking crap out of it. There we go, look at that. I think the handle on my brush is coming loose. I think the IPA's dissolved the glue. Doesn't matter, once it evaporates it should re-solidify and stick, hopefully. I mean, these were bargain basement things, these. I mean, they've got plastic turntables on the fucking thing. I mean, you're probably thinking to yourself, why am I bothering? Well, I'm bothering because A, I want the deck, and B, it shows you guys how to do it. You know, those of you that don't know, it shows you how to do it. So that's the reason why I do it. I mean, there we go. A little bit in each part. Only need a little bit. Just enough to fill it. Just enough to fill each, for want of a better word, each crevice. We can wipe off the excess. It'll probably end up all over my fingers anyway. But you just want enough to fill each crevice. That's all you need to just get your crevice filled. There we go. One more. Yeah. We've not quite got enough in there. That one anyway. And that one there looks a bit. There we go. Because remember, the next time this is serviced, it probably won't be in my lifetime. Because the person who designed it probably wasn't serviced in their lifetime. Just put my little finger through there now, just take off, get my cloth, take off the excess from there, because there we go. Pick up my washer and the unworn side, which is that side. Right, I shall wipe off the excess grease from the bottom of this, so that in another fucking 40 years when an engineer takes it apart to grease it, he won't fucking see all that mess. There won't be any mess. Right. Right, and what we do next, what I like to do with these, I like to, oh, I've not dropped the oil in there, have I? little bit on my finger. There we go. That's all you need. Just put a bit on the idler shaft. Because this oil is very thin. What I did, I sprayed it out of my tin. I sprayed it onto the, I sprayed it into the bottle. So it's very, very, very thin oil. It has to be to come out of that nozzle. So that's what I did, because I wanted some really thin oil that I could just use like that instead of having to spray it. It goes everywhere, right? So we need to put a bit of, I put a bit of grease on there, haven't I? Yes, I did that. Pull the push pad down a little bit. I've got grease all over my fingers. Let me just put my hand underneath. Just pull it to there. That's it. Oh, look at that! We've got a great big fucking hair on it there. Get that rid of that. That control arm needs a bit of oil on it. It's very stiff. There we go. Let's just move the arm across, make sure the actuator pole is out of the way. Move the arm. Perfect. No resistance whatsoever, and that's how it should be. Want the circlip now for the gear. That ain't it. That's it there. That one. So I'm going to put the circlip back on for that. Wipe the grease off the top. Be very professional about this. So we've oiled that, we've done this. We've yet to oil this, but that'll be the last job because the motor's going back in now. Oh no, let me just get some, well, that's it, my IPA's been knocked over. I knew it would. Oh, fucking hell. It'll evaporate. Let's give it a hand. There we go. Now let's get a bit of oil. Again, just on my finger. Take it around that. There. And put a little bit, just a smidge. There we go. Some else's hair's worth. Move that spring out of the way. There we go. Actually, that up there we go. Look at that. Spot on. Spot on. Let's see if we can lift it. I've just knocked the paste, just knocked the brush off, and I've got rubber. I've got grease on the idler, but it's going to be cleaned anyway, so it makes no difference. Now let's just see if we can lift it. You're supposed to lift these by the back, not the front. Supposed to lift them there. That's why it's thicker here. Yep. I'm happy with that. Why wouldn't I be? We've got a bit of grease here and there. It's going to probably get more before the day is done, but let's give it a wipe. We've got oil. Let's give it a wipe round. And get what I can off, because once the turntable goes on I don't want any underneath. Give that rim a wipe. There we go. Give the idler a slight clean. Is it soft that? Oh, it's lovely. So now we want the motor. So now we need to put the motor back in. Toothbrush. Put the motor back in. The motor, oh pardon me, the motor grommets are actually in very, very good condition. There was no need to do anything with them. Getting grease on me there. Turn this fucking turntable round so I can get to the fucking bits I need to. Yeah. I'm actually very happy with this, the way this is turning out. I think that's the clip off the idler, isn't it? No. Oh, get here you fucking bastard. It's dropped under there, but we'll get it out. There we are. Almost. Just try and tilt the turntables like, there we are. Tilt the deck a little bit. Right, make sure we're in. We were. Go crashing into the gear at the same time. Right. And I need to clean the centre spindle as well because that's got gunk and shite in it. Some of them spindles you had to press a spring inside to release them on Monarchs anyway, but this one is sort of like a cross between the fucking two. It's not a Monarch and it's not a fucking, you know what I'm saying. It's a fucking, what do you call it? It's a hybrid. Made out of Monarch parts. Well, the mechanism is anyway. The speed change is the same that was used there afterwards. But, oops. Right, so we've got both fibre washers. We can put one of those back on. I'll drop the fucker. Where have you gone? Did that go? Oh, shit. That's the end of that. I ain't finding that, I'm afraid. Mind. Well done. I'll put this one on the bottom. Put this one on the bottom and at least it'll be the right height. Right, now let's clean the idler. And I'll put the motor switch back together in a minute. There we go. When you're using rubber renew, be very, very careful. It's lethal. Always make sure you put the top back on, because it's fucking lethal. Some really nasty stuff in this stuff. Make sure you put the top back on. Make sure that you clean your hands afterwards before you put your hands near your mouth or eat anything. There we go. There we go. Clip. Because as we know, I've just lost the fibre washer, but it doesn't matter. I had trouble getting this fucking clip off, didn't I? It was a bastard. It came off, there we go. Right. Let's get a clean part of the cloth. Put it on 78 so I'm not pressing unduly on it. Clean the shaft. There we go. I don't need to clean the outside, I've just done that with rubber renew. So we're alright there. Let's get the paintbrush again. A bit more IPA. coming to the end of the bottle on this IPA. I've got another one up there. Right, and give the centre spindle a clean. I will get the cloth on it as well. See, because that's a spring loaded one. I still want it clean. Get the cloth. The fucking room stinks that rubber renew now. Clean the spindle. We want that to slot back in. So you look at that there, that's... Make sure the record keeper can actually go up and down nicely, which it can, which is the top part of the spindle, because that's the spindle, that's the spindle, that's the actuator, the pusher should I say, that's the pusher, that's the table, and that's the record keeper. For those of you that don't know, remember, spindle, record keeper, pusher, and at the back here is the table with the records sit on until they're ready to be dropped. Right, so what we'll do next, that there, take these bits out of the middle of the turntable, and I'll assemble all that lot last. Take all these bits out, put them all there, and guess what? We've got no spare parts. Everything's accounted for and everything has a place. So what I'll do next is I will get my cloth again, and I shall clean the drive surface, and I'll also clean this gear and inside the centre. Get my brush, pull my cloth down a bit, there we go, pull the cloth through, and there we go. That's all nice and clean. Give the gear a wipe. Give that a wipe there. Just to be safe, let's give it a quick run over with my shirt. There we go, we're free of contaminants there. Now all we do, we put the turntable back on. Well, let's give it a wipe first. Put a dirty turntable back onto a nice clean deck. That'll do, it's all going to get polished anyway. Now all I want to do is spin that, and there we go, a couple of drops of oil, that's all you need. You get people who put oil in and it's swimming in it, and it doesn't have to be. It's like that there, pull that up and down. Whoops. I want to pull it off, but it doesn't matter. Now put that in there to mop up the excess, so we haven't got any excess oil in there. There we go. There we go, look at that. Just check the idler. Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't roll, yeah, it's nice and stiff there, stiff there, stiff there, and on 78 it's not supposed to be, that's good. Centre spindle, going on circlip. And screwdriver, wherever you've got them, you'll do, and get it in and just push it on. Give that a good spin. Now let's test out the automatic mechanism. Won't have a drop of record yet, there's no need. Just check it turns on and off first of all. Perfect. Now just check. There we go. 7-inch. 10-inch. Might have to fine adjust that. You never know. 12-inch. Nope, shouldn't have to adjust that because it lands right in the middle of the rest, so it should be right. Just clean the tone arm because it's got some crud on it. We'll see if it will come off. Oh, that's rubber renew, that stinks. What was IPA? Put some crap on here, see if it will come off. If it doesn't, it's no great detriment, but it'd be nice to have a nice clean tone arm as well as the rest of it. See, there's no finger lift on this either. The early ones didn't have a finger lift on them because they weren't designed to be used manually. There we go, clean the wand of the tone arm. That's it. Yeah, that's okay. Right. Let's refit the cartridge. Yeah, I can refit the cartridge at this point. Give it a quick wipe, just so that it's, I mean, no one's ever going to see the cartridge, but blowing any crap out of the actuator. The cartridge is a 5X3M. Is it? 5X5M, sorry. Or is it SX5M, which means it's a medium sensitive cartridge. Because if it was a high one, it'd have an H on it, I would have thought. But maybe I'm wrong on that, and you're more than welcome to correct me. Before I put the cartridge in, I want to clean the cartridge pins on the cartridge. Because remember, we had that bit of an issue with the signal tracer, didn't we? So we'll just give them a quick clean with IPA. There we go. Clean. Now red, don't give you a lot of leeway with these wires. Okay, I'll fire that on then. Doesn't it when the black's in the way? I've often heard that said by snooker players. Yeah, there we go, that's that. Now the black. white. Always remember, connect your cartridge up correctly so it's in phase when you come to play a record. Put the cartridge screw back on, and then we'll screw that back in. There's my little blue screwdriver. There it is. Make sure it goes in square, so you're not fighting with it and you don't tear the fucking screw to fuck. There we go. Doesn't have to be fucking super tight. Just has to nip it. You only have to nip it up. Won't put the stylus in it yet. Let's put the top back on the grease because we're done with that. We'll clean the brushes in a minute. Now we need to put the switch back together for the motor. And obviously lift the control arm up, that way we're not putting any pressure on the tone arm. There we go. Now put our switch back together, which is simple. That brown wire goes down there. I bet it was fucking easier said than done. That is definitely the way it goes in. Let's try my other hand. Because I'm left-handed, me. Get in, you bastard. What the fuck's stopping that? It's the right way. There we are. I won't press hard. You'll see it's got, that's the right way because it goes through, the wires come through these little cutouts there, obviously. So, put the other contact in. I mean, they were really cheap on these, weren't they? I mean, they spared every expense, didn't they? Thinking it, where's the other fucking wire? It's here. Right. Now that goes there, so I think I've put this on the wrong fucking side. Never mind. Motor's fucking in now, I ain't pulling that back off. So what we'll do, we'll just bring the wire over here around. Let's reroute it. See if I can do it the other way. I can't fucking see what I'm doing there. There we go. Let it fucking... Basically it's a tight fit because it has to maintain continuity. So it is a tight fit. Nicely in. Now, this piece of hardboard stuff, whatever it fucking is, goes on the bottom. Goes that way and that way. These two, oh hang on, almost forgot the fucking button, didn't I? But like I say folks, none of us is perfect. There we are, that's good enough. That's right. It's not good enough, it's correct, it's how it should be. Turn that round. So that it does go that way because I never took that screw out. There we are. Put the other screw through. Oops. And that'll go somewhere to try and hold it all together. Don't know how long this video is going to be, but you all know me by now. There we go. Push that through. And this goes there. Get everything as it should be. There we go. That goes. What I'll do, I'm going to put this switch in. I'm going to route the wire this way down for a minute, just so I can get the switch in position. It goes onto this post here. Well, that post actuates the switch. Get the little screwdriver and see if we're anywhere near position where we need to be. Yeah, we are. Now just move the switch, which has to be there. There we go. And the wires. Yeah, I put this on the wrong fucking side, didn't I? Dopey bastard. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to swap that over. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. There we go. Get the fucker out. There we go. Now let's get the, because these wires, that goes to there and they crimp down here onto that, and that clamp goes over the top. At least it's fucking wood if it was lined up. That's better. Alright, screwdriver. Where's that fucking screwdriver I had? There you go. You know, you can never fucking, you put stuff down and then it fucking just lift out with all the damage to the toner. There we go. Took them wires are supposed to go through that way, but they'll be alright. Be fine, won't do any harm. They're more than clear and everything. Right, so that's the switch back in, that's the deck, basically the deck serviced. This to fucking put back on, that fucking flew off at some point. At least I haven't got a lot of IPA left enough for it to roll out the bottle anymore. Or run out the bottle, spill out the bottle, however you want to term it. Now, this, just hold that at the back there, about the middle, and just, there we go. Done. Now, right. In. Let's operate the mechanism so that I can get put into the right place where it needs to be. That's it. Right. Let's strip this wire. There we go. Let's find some way of connecting it up so we can power the motor. Give the motor a test fire. Yeah, we've got an IEC lead here. Right, so that's negative. Not that it should matter, but let's do it properly. Positive. Do. I don't even know if this motor was even working. Ooh. Ah! It was working, but it wasn't going round. I thought I got a shock off it and I didn't. Something stuck in my finger. No, that motor's not working. The motor's not working. Yeah, let's have a look why. The switch is working. See what we've got in the way of resistance. Might have a bad motor. Put that one on there so it's not picking me up. Oh, 299 ohms. Try it again. The motor's not jammed up or anything. That's off. Because when it's off, there should be no resistance because I've disconnected the motor. Theory. I thought I got a shock off it. I didn't. You can't. It's isolated, isn't it, with the rubbers? Yeah. Just check. Yeah, it's isolated. You're not going to get a shock. It's just vibration from the motor. So I don't know why the motor wasn't rotating. But got -4. We've got 4 ohms on it there now. But nothing on it now. So when I pull the switch, still nothing. Still nothing. I think we've got a dodgy switch, folks. I think we've got a dodgy switch. Well, since we've got the resistance, what I'll do, before I mess about anymore, let's sort the switch out. It will appear we have a dodgy switch here. Oh, let's pull it. I thought I got a shock, I didn't. It was something stuck in my finger. When I pressed it down on the deck, it stuck in. There we go. Let's have a look at the switch. It'll only be the contacts. Right, so let's have a look. Yeah, it's that fucker there. Let's pull this one out. Make sure we've got all crap on the fucking contacts. Yeah, that one there's okay. This fucker here, it's actually bent. That would explain it. Let's put it back in. Actually fucking bent, no wonder it won't work. There we go. Let's put the wire back in. Tell you what, you know, it's fucking tricky to get back these wires back. There we are. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now where's the little switch, the little actuator? There it is. That feels better. Right. So just double check. Oh, that's still bent. Still bent. Why is it bent? There we go. That should go, oops, all the way up. That should go that way. That's how that should be. Now, let's get the top of the switch. There it is, under the screws. Put the screws through. We'll check it again in a minute for continuity. Make sure that it's working. Then we'll put it back on the mains and see what we get. But yeah. We'll see. I could feel it vibrating, but it weren't running, and it certainly weren't fucking turning that turntable. But yet the motor is free, very. So it wasn't that. Are we fucking switched on it? Yeah, we were. Screwdriver's a bit slippy. Let's try this other one. That's better. Get more purchase on it. There we go. Can't fucking get a fucking grip on it there in that position. There we go. Right, let's try again. Make sure it's pushing it all the way in. Yeah, it is as far as I'm concerned. So let's try. I might have even connected the fucking thing up the wrong way around, but we'll try it because I think the brown's live. Certainly. And the black's negative. Try again. Yeah. There we are, it was just a switch. $16, $33, $45, and $78. Right, let's put some records on it. Let's put a couple of singles on it and see how it drops them. Hang on a minute. I keep bumping into my fucking radiogram. I'm going to have to put it somewhere else. Right. Here we go. Put a pile of singles on it. That's lovely, that. 7-inch. First one's gone down, no problem. Yeah. Oops, dropped two at the same time then. Doesn't matter, it frequently happened that. Might be different fitness records. Oh, and that time it didn't fucking... Oh. Didn't go over that time. Let's try all that again. Let's make sure that everything's right. Didn't go over on the last one. Oh. Didn't go over on the last one. Why didn't it go over on the last one? Let's turn my meter off. Don't know why it did. Don't know why. I know there is the occasion where it might drop two at a time, but you expect it to go over on them. Dropped them all properly that time. Yeah, there we go. Might have been the angle it was on. And switch off. Alright, let me put something underneath here to support it. Try then, there we go. Let's put the stylus in, the old one. I'm not putting my nice new one in it, not yet. Put the old one in, and I can check them. I can check them important things, such as the set down point. I've got something stuck in my fucking finger when I press my finger on there. I thought I got a shock at first. I didn't. Wasn't. It was. Is that straight? Yeah. There we go. Right, so we just want one record for the set down point, and we also want to check the weight as well. Well, the set down point is bang on. Let's connect it to the signal tracer. Can I do that? Oh no, I've not got enough wire on it. Well, hang on a minute. No, I'll leave that because I haven't got enough wire coming out. I've got no wire coming out the back to connect it on. Move this on a bit. I want to check that again because I want to see if it comes off when it gets to the end of the record. Well, it tells you you've got 6 papers left. There used to be 10 when you got near the bottom. Oh, you're supposed to get 100 in a pack. I wonder how many you actually do get. I mean, does anybody go to the trouble of counting them? Listen folks, can I just make one thing clear? Oh, there we are. When Jay did that that review on that stuff I gave him the other week, by the way, them dimps that he found, they weren't mine. That machine was exactly I gave him it how it was given to me. And probably Graham's. But when I say Graham, I don't mean Radio Crunch. I mean my mate Graham from up the road. Let's not get any confusion. But yeah. You can say, where's me fucking... Let's unplug that. That's ready to go in the Van der Molen. Which I'm not going to do tonight. There we go folks. Another BSR. Gets to live and run another day. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. I mean, it's you know, it's one of the cheaper end BSRs and one of the very early ones, but it will go in that Van der Molen and it will work quite well, hopefully. Thank you very much for joining me. You all take care, and I shall catch you all later. Bye for now, folks.